Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my NBA DraftKings picks for Wednesday, November 22nd. We got a huge slate on this Wednesday, the biggest slate we've had all NBA season. A 14-game slate today, so a ton of players to look at. One thing to note before I get started looking at this slate, I am recording this video a lot earlier than I normally record my vids. I usually make my NBA videos the night before, but since there was no slate on Tuesday, since there was only one game on Tuesday, I decided I'd go ahead and record this, get it out as soon as I can. So I'm recording this Tuesday afternoon. It's about 1 o'clock on Tuesday. The only teams that are on a back-to-back are the Lakers and the Bulls. They play on Tuesday, and they also play on Wednesday. So there shouldn't be any injury news that happens like from here till then. We are waiting on some injury news for guys that are like currently questionable, like Damian Lillard, Paul Millsap, Wilson Chandler. Some guys are questionable. But a lot of the guys that are questionable now are expected to play, so shouldn't have any injury news happen since there's only two teams on a back-to-back. So yeah, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. If this is your first time watching a video on my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And let's go ahead and get started looking at point guard today. Alright, so up top at point guard, we've got, I'd say, 3-4 studs here. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, Steph Curry. Up top is Harden. He's 11,300 going up against Denver. I don't think Harden's somebody I'm going to be paying up for today. Denver definitely struggles against point guards, but with Chris Paul coming back, I would imagine Paul's going to continue to see his minutes increase. So at 11,300, I think I'll shy away from Harden. And it's a 14-game slate, so there are a ton of studs to pay up for. There's like 6 guys over 10K that you can pay up for. So I don't think Harden's somebody I'm trying to jam into my lineups today. Pretty much all the studs I say are going to be somewhat low owned. It is a 14-game slate, so nobody's going to be like insanely highly owned. So kind of just play the studs you want to play today. Don't really worry about ownership. So if you want to pay up for Harden, I think he's definitely fine. I personally won't be doing it because there are other guys I like, but it's James Harden. The dude has 70, 80-point upside. Could win you this slate if he goes off. And Denver does struggle against point guards, so I could see why you would want to pay up for him. But I don't think I'm going to be doing it today. Russell Westbrook going up against the Warriors. Definitely like Westbrook today as a tournament option. I feel like this is kind of the game where Russell Westbrook gets up. He does get up for these games versus the Warriors going up against KD. I'm not sure who defensively Westbrook's going to see, whether it be Curry or Clay. If he sees Clay, that's kind of a tough matchup, but Westbrook kind of matchup proof. You can play this guy whenever. And he did look like himself in his last game the other day on Monday. Had a really nice game, a triple-double against the Pelicans. 22 points, 12 assists, 16 rebounds. We saw the Westbrook that we've seen last year. Had 70 DraftKings points on Monday against the Pelicans. So maybe Westbrook will continue this heater. Could keep it going here against Golden State, a game that I think should be competitive, should be high scoring. Definitely like Westbrook in tournaments at 10,400. Don't think he's the guy I'm jamming into my cash games because there are other options I like, but Westbrook in GPPs, he'll probably be low owned. It's a 14-game slate. Everybody's going to be low owned, so definitely like Westbrook in some tournament lineups. And since it is a 14-game slate today, guys, obviously I can't go through every single option because the video is going to take forever. So if there are guys that I just don't really have a lot of interest in, probably won't talk about them. If there is somebody that I skip over that you think's a good option today, make sure you leave them down in the comments below. But like I said, since it's such a big slate, I'm not going to try and talk about everybody just because the video will take forever. So I'll be sure to hit on the guys that definitely catch my eye. And then looking at the options under 10K, some of these 9K, 8K guys, I think if you're going to go to this range, Ben Simmons at 9,500 going up against the Trailblazers. Ben Simmons, just a really good play today. We know this guy has such a high floor, great cash game play. He has upside for tournaments. I'm not sure who he's going to see defensively from Portland. I doubt they put Lillard on him because Lillard's not the best defender. But Simmons has shown he can still produce even in tough matchups. So if you want to go to Ben Simmons here, I think he's definitely in play. Especially in cash games, this guy just has such a high floor. He's averaged 46, nearly 47 DraftKings points this year. He's probably going to get you at least 5x. Has the ceiling to get 6 to 7x in tournaments. So Ben Simmons, just an all-around good play. If you want to pay up for him at point guard at 9,500, I think I would prefer him over Curry. If you're choosing between the two, if you're going to that 9K range, I'd take Simmons over Curry and Lillard. Like I said earlier, Lillard is questionable today, but he is expected to play. If he does not play, obviously you're going to want to consider CJ McCollum. But right now, I am expecting Lillard to play. He did say that he was going to play in this game, so Lillard should be playing today, but I'm probably not going to be considering him at 9,100. If I'm going to pay up at point guard, I'd probably just go to Ben Simmons at 9,500. Then other options that we can target in this 8K range, don't think I'm going to be going to any of these guys in this 8K range. I think if Chris Paul doesn't have a minutes restriction today, he is a viable option at 7,500 going up against Denver. Even with the minutes restriction, Chris Paul just been playing really well this year. In the 3 games that he has played, he's put up 36, 37, and 35 DraftKings points. Just been really consistent, 33, 21, and 24 minutes, or that's how many minutes he's played. So even in 21 minutes against Phoenix, he got 37 DK points. In 24 minutes against Memphis, he got 35 DK points. If he plays close to 30 minutes against Denver, a team that does struggle to defend point guards, this could be a really good spot to go after Chris Paul at 7,500, especially if he doesn't have a minutes restriction. If he's going to play his full amount of minutes, then I think he's definitely a guy you're going to want to target today. If you want to go to that range at point guard in that 7K range, really like him at 7,500. Like I said earlier with Damian Lillard, if he is out for this game, you're going to want to consider CJ McCollum here at 7,300, but I'm expecting Lillard to play. If Lillard plays, I probably won't be on McCollum. Just not a guy that I'm really going to be considering on a 14-game slate. I think there are some other options I like. But looking in the 6K range at point guard, there is one guy that I absolutely love today in a revenge game. I mentioned him earlier on Twitter. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, be sure to do that at the DFS_GOAT. And since I am recording this a lot earlier than normal, if any injury news happens, I will be sure to tweet it out on my Twitter. If there are any guys that open up that I really like for value or something, then I'll be sure to tweet that out. So make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. But yeah, like I said, I talked about this guy earlier on Twitter. Love him today. Eric Bledsoe, 6,500 in a revenge game, going back to Phoenix, going back to face the Suns. We know Eric Bledsoe, he left the Suns. He tweeted out during the season that he just didn't want to be on this team. This team sucks. They can't win. And then he got traded to the Bucks, and today he's going back to Phoenix to face the Suns, the team that he said pretty much he can't win, or this team can't win. They suck. So this is the ultimate revenge game for Eric Bledsoe. I absolutely love him today. I think he's one of the best tournament plays on the slate. I'm not sure what his ownership will be since it's a 14-game slate. I feel like a lot of people are going to go after him because of the revenge game. But this feels like such a smash spot for Eric Bledsoe. He does have a decent price tag at 6,500. He's shown the upside even on this Milwaukee Bucks team, even playing with Giannis. Bledsoe has shown some upside to get 40, even close to 50 DraftKings points. So in a revenge game against his former team, the team that he did not like playing for, just love Eric Bledsoe here. Great tournament play. Think you can consider him in cash games at this price tag. One of my favorite plays on the slate today at 6,500. Love him today at point guard or shooting guard. And then if you don't want to play Bledsoe, but you want some other options in that price range, I think Jeff Teague at 6,600 going up against the Magic. Definitely a good spot for Jeff Teague. The Magic aren't that good defensively against the point guard. And Jeff Teague's been really consistent lately. In his last 4 games, 30, 36, 21, and 35 DraftKings points. And at just a $6,600 price tag, you're only going to need about 32, 33 DraftKings points for him to hit cash game value. He should definitely be able to do that against a Magic team that does struggle to defend point guards. So if you don't want to play Bledsoe here, you want somebody in that range, I'd probably go to Jeff Teague at 6,600 against the Magic. And looking for some options maybe that we can target for value at point guard. It's a 14-game slate, so there probably should be plenty of value. So if you want to go stars and scrubs today, obviously that's probably going to be a viable option. And one guy that I definitely like for value at point guard is at 5K, Mario Chalmers going up against Dallas. I mentioned Mario Chalmers in Monday's video. He crushed going up against Portland. He had a really nice game, put up like 40 DraftKings points, I believe. Yeah, exactly 40 DK points, had 21 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, also got a steal. Played 33 minutes on Monday against Portland. With Mike Conley out, I said this on Monday, but Chalmers is just going to continue to start. He's going to continue to play some nice minutes. And at this price tag of just 5K, I don't see how he doesn't continue just to hit value every night. As long as Chalmers is under 6K, I'm probably just going to continue to play him. He's going to play probably over 30 minutes every game. He's going to produce when he's on the court. He'll score the ball. He'll grab a couple rebounds. He'll assist. Just think Mario Chalmers is a really good value play today at 5K. Think his price tag hasn't caught up to the production. So if you need some value at point guard, consider Chalmers today at 5K. I think he's a good option. And then looking for some other options that we can target for point guard value. Kyle Anderson at 4,600 going up against the Pelicans I think is a good value play. He's point guard and small forward eligible. I'd probably prefer to play him at small forward. But like I said, he's good value. He's been really consistent lately. His last 4 games, 27, 15, 26, and 38 DraftKings points. And he has a very nice price tag on him today at just 4,600. For him to hit value on that price tag, you're only going to need about 22, 23 DraftKings points. And Anderson's pretty much been crushing that. So if you want to go to him for value, it's a good matchup against the Pelicans. They can't really defend small forwards. So I like Kyle Anderson. You need to go cheap at point guard or small forward. Consider him today at 4,600. And then another one of my 5 plays is coming from point guard. You can play him at shooting guard as well. Really like him as a value play. George Hill, 4,100, going up against the Lakers. think George Hill is a great cash game option today at this price tag. The guy's just been crushing value lately, and his price really hasn't caught up. If you just look at his game log, his last 5 games, he's hit at least 5x value, 27, 22, 21, 25, and 34 DraftKings points. Obviously, if we get that on a $4,100 price tag, that's obviously crushing value. For Hill to get 6x, which makes him viable in tournaments, you're only going to need like 24, 25 DK points. And like I said, he's been doing that lately. He should definitely be able to do that today against a Lakers team that can't defend point guards. Lonzo Ball, not a good defender. And George Hill has been seeing nice minutes lately, 31 and 32 minutes in his last 2 games. Just been playing really well. So definitely like George Hill if you need a value play at either point guard or shooting guard. I think he's definitely a guy you're going to want to target today at 4,100. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for point guard. There's some point guards I have my eye on. Like I said earlier, it's a 14-game slate, so I can't talk about everybody. If there's somebody that you like, that you think I skipped over, I should have talked about, then make sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I will be sure to reply to your comment. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. Alright, so at shooting guard, I don't think there's a position I really want to pay up at. Just not a lot of options that really think are like must plays. I don't think there are any must plays on a 14-game slate, but I don't think these are guys I'm wanting to pay up for. If you were going to pay up, like I said earlier, if Chris Paul doesn't have a minutes restriction, you want to play him at shooting guard. I think he's viable at 7,500. Maybe Devin Booker at 7,700 going up against the Bucks. We know Devin Booker always in play. Now that Eric Bledsoe is gone, this dude's going to take a ton of shots. He's going to have a ton of usage. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. And he has plenty of upside to where you can consider him for tournaments. So if you want to pay up at shooting guard, either go to Devin Booker or Chris Paul if Paul does not have a minutes restriction. I think him and Booker are both good options if you look to pay up. But if we want to go to this mid-tier, I think there are definitely some options we can target in this mid-tier. Spencer Dinwiddie has seen his price increase a ton. He's point guard and shooting guard eligible. I'm not sure if I'm going to be playing him today at this price tag. It's obviously a great matchup. Dinwiddie's been playing really well with D'Angelo Russell out. In his last 3 games with Russell out, Dinwiddie has put up 35, 50, and 39 DraftKings points. But his price is way up there today at 6,300. For him to really hit value on that price tag, you're going to need about 32, 33 DK points, which he could definitely do, especially against Cleveland, a team that can't really defend. But at this price tag, I think there are better options that are like 2K cheaper, like a guy like George Hill. Not saying George Hill is going to outscore Dinwiddie, but if Dinwiddie gets 30, 35, George Hill gets 25, then I'll just take the 2K discount and go with George Hill. If you want to go to Dinwiddie, I think he's fine, but at this price tag, I'm not really intrigued by him anymore now that his price has gotten way up to 6,300. But it is a good matchup. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he returned value on that price. But he's just a little bit too expensive for me to really like him, so I'll be shying away there. If we want to go for some value at shooting guard, if Paul Millsap and Wilson Chandler both missed today, they're both currently questionable. Definitely want to consider Will Barton at 5,400. Barton's been seeing a ton of minutes with those 2 guys out. He's been playing really well. In their last game on Monday against Sacramento, Barton played 37 minutes with Millsap and Chandler both out. He did start in that game, put up 41 DraftKings points, had 25 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. So if Paul Millsap and Wilson Chandler are both out today, I don't think they will be. They're currently questionable, but they are expected to play. But if they somehow both miss, we're going to want to consider Will Barton today as a value play at 5,400. And then if we want to go maybe 5K and under for some value plays at shooting guard, I think Allen Crabbe at 4,600 going up against the Cavs, definitely a value play you probably want to consider if you need to go cheap at shooting guard or small forward. He is eligible at both positions. With D'Angelo Russell out, Crabbe has also been seeing a lot of minutes lately. In his last 4 games, 31, 33, 30, and 34 minutes. He's put up 11, 29, 30, and 38 DraftKings points. So in a good matchup against Cleveland, a team that doesn't play a lot of good defense, I think Allen Crabbe at 4,600 with D'Angelo Russell out. Crabbe's going to see probably over 30 minutes pretty much every game with Russell out. So if you want to go to him as a value play at 4,600, I think he definitely makes some sense if you need to go cheap at shooting guard or small forward. And yeah, I think that's it for shooting guard today, guys. Those are some options I have. Not a ton of guys I'm really in love with at this position. I think there are some good value plays, like Allen Crabbe you can target. There are some mid-range options, like I said earlier, with Will Barton if you want to go to him. If Millsap and Chandler both miss, I think he makes a lot of sense in that mid-tier. There are definitely guys you can pay up for, like Harden, Curry, DeRozan. These guys are obviously in play. Definitely not guys I'm trying to force into my lineups today, but if you find the value, you want to pay up for a shooting guard, I think there are definitely good options here. But I'll probably be looking to go cheap at this position with a guy like Allen Crabbe. Or if some value does open up later on in the day, I will be sure to hit on that on Twitter. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and move on to small forward. All right, so at small forward today, we've got 3 studs at this position: Giannis, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. Obviously, all of these guys are in play. Giannis gets to face the Suns. Obviously, a great matchup for Giannis. Me personally, I won't be paying up for him today because I like Eric Bledsoe so much. And if I think Eric Bledsoe is going to have like a really good game, probably won't be on Giannis, especially not at 11,500. That's a really high price tag to pay. I think if you do want to pay up for small forward, I'd probably prefer LeBron over Giannis. LeBron gets to face the Nets, a team that just can't defend. They play pretty much the fastest pace in the NBA. When these teams faced earlier this year, LeBron just totally smashed, put up 70 DraftKings points, had 29 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. Got a triple-double earlier this year when he faced Brooklyn. So if you're going to go up to small forward, I think I would prefer LeBron over Giannis. Obviously, Giannis is in play. It's a great matchup going up against the Suns, but since I like Eric Bledsoe so much, I think if I'm going to get exposure to the Bucks today, it's going to be with Bledsoe. So if you're paying up for small forward, if you're going up to the top, give me LeBron over Giannis. Then under LeBron is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant in a revenge game going back to Oklahoma City to face the Thunder. Right now, DraftKings has Durant listed as out, but I am expecting him to play today. Right here it says that Durant practiced in full on Tuesday. He's questionable for Wednesday's game against the Thunder. The Warriors haven't played since Sunday, so Durant has had plenty of time to rest up, so he should be ready to go today in a revenge game. Obviously, Durant is a good play for tournaments if he does wind up playing in this game. I'm not going to probably target him in cash, not at 10K. He's going to have to get like at least 50 DK points to really return value on that salary, and Durant really hasn't been doing that lately. But in a revenge game against his former team, you know Durant's going to come out wanting to shoot the ball, so in tournaments, he has a ton of upside in this spot. So if you want to go to him at small forward, he's definitely in play. Not going to be a cash game play for me, but for GPPs, definitely go to Kevin Durant today. I think at small forward today, you're either going to pay up here or just go to like the mid-tier. I don't think there's some good options like Ben Simmons you can play here. I think he's a really good option, but I'm probably not going to be on DeRozan. Devin Booker's viable if you want to go to him. Probably won't be on Tyreke Evans or Aaron Gordon. So at small forward, if you're going to pay up at this position, just go to the top for LeBron, Giannis, KD, Ben Simmons. Those are the guys you want to target. If you want to go to this mid-tier, I'd say roll with maybe Devin Booker, maybe Paul George against Golden State, but that probably will be a tough matchup for George. I would imagine he's going to see defense from Draymond Green. But PG has been playing really well lately, so if you want to go to him, I think he's fine, but I'd probably just go a little bit cheaper, go to maybe Devin Booker, or just go down to like the 6K, 5K range, maybe look for some value at this position. I think if you need a cash game play at this position that's really cheap, Harrison Barnes at 5,600 going up against Memphis. Not the best matchup, going up against the Grizzlies, a pretty solid defensive team. But Harrison Barnes' price tag just hasn't reflected with his production. The dude's been hitting value pretty much every game lately. In his last 4 games, he's put up 34, 27, 29, and 43 DraftKings points, so he's been crushing value on his price tag. At that price, you're only going to need about 27, 28 DK points for him to hit cash game value. So definitely think Harrison Barnes is a good cash game play. Dude plays a ton of minutes. Even in a tough matchup against the Grizzlies, he's going to take some shots. He'll grab rebounds. So if you need a cash play, a small forward or power forward in that 5K range, go to Harrison Barnes, 5,600. I think he makes a lot of sense at his price tag. I talked about him earlier. Will Barton, 5,400. If Wilson Chandler and Paul Millsap are both out today, definitely want to consider Will Barton as small forward. You can play him here at 5,400. Think he makes a lot of sense as well. And then maybe looking 5K and under for some value at small forward. Allen Crabbe is eligible at this position. I think he's a good value play, 4,600. Same with Kyle Anderson at that same price tag. Also like him at 4,600. I think if you want to go to a guy like JaMychal Green at 4,500 going up against Dallas, it's definitely a good matchup for JaMychal Green. We know Dallas is one of the worst rebounding teams. So Green should be able to dominate the board, should be able to grab plenty of rebounds in this matchup. And he has been starting lately. He has been playing some pretty nice minutes. Played 34 minutes in their last game against Portland, had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 23 DraftKings points in their last game against Portland. So if you need another cheap play at small forward or power forward, JaMychal Green, 4,500, I think is definitely an option. And yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing for a small forward value today, guys. Wesley Johnson has been playing really well lately. He's 3,800, but I don't know if I can really trust this guy. In his last 3 games, he has been playing really well, like I said, 45, 23, and 26 DraftKings points. But the minutes have been really inconsistent. He played 43 minutes against Cleveland. Then it dropped down to 32 against Charlotte. Then it dropped down to 24 against New York. Gallinari's still going to be out, so Wesley Johnson's probably going to continue to start, or he's going to continue to see at least mid-20s in minutes. I think if you needed just a straight-up punt play, if you want to fit in like 2 or 3 studs, you need someone that's that cheap, maybe go to Wesley Johnson, but definitely not a guy I'm trying to force into my lineups today. I think there is better value out there, but at his price tag, I think it makes a lot of sense. If you want to pay up for like LeBron, Giannis, a lot of studs, then go to Wesley Johnson, 3,800 if you need to go that cheap. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for small forward today, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to power forward. All right, so at power forward, got some more studs up here. We got Boogie, we got AD, Blake Griffin, all in this position. I don't think I'm going to be on Boogie today at 10,300. I don't think he's a stud. I'm going to be looking to pay up for. I'm going to be going back to Anthony Davis today at 9,600, going up against the Spurs. I just think Anthony Davis is way too cheap, even though it's a tough matchup against the Spurs. This guy should not be 9,600, especially for the kind of talent he has. We saw it in their last game against OKC. He was one of my favorite plays on Monday. He did play really well, put up 36 points, 15 rebounds, had 61 DraftKings points, crushed value at just 9,800. And today his price decreased $200, so I think Anthony Davis at this price tag, definitely a guy you're going to want to consider. DeMarcus Cousins did get ejected in that OKC game, so obviously that helped Anthony Davis, but even with Boogie on the court, AD's still been crushing all year. It's all about staying healthy for Anthony Davis. If he's on the court, the guy's going to produce, so going to him at 9,600, even in a tough matchup against the Spurs, I think one of these guys is probably going to crush. The Spurs don't really have a ton of big men that can defend these guys. They have LaMarcus Aldridge, who's a solid defender, but Paul Gasol probably not going to do very well defensively against these guys. So I think Anthony Davis at this price tag is a guy you want to consider. Him or Boogie probably are going to go off. But me personally, I'm going to be rolling with AD today, just at this cheap price tag of 9,600. Obviously, since I'm going with AD, I'd prefer him over like Blake Griffin. If you're going to that price range of power forward, I'd take AD at 9,600. The guy's just too cheap in my opinion. But if we want to look for some cheaper options at power forward, there's a guy that I really like here in the 7K range. He's power forward and center eligible. That's Kevin Love. He's one of my 5 plays today. 7,900 going up against Brooklyn. Just absolutely love this spot for Kevin Love. Love the matchup. No pun intended. We know Brooklyn can't defend centers. They've struggled defensively against centers all year. We know Brooklyn plays at a very fast pace. So I think this is a great spot for Kevin Love. I think he's a great tournament play on this slate. Even though his price tag has increased to 7,900, I think he still returns value on this salary. So cash games, if you want to go to Kevin Love today, I also think he makes a lot of sense. But for tournaments is where I really like him. He just has so much upside in this matchup. Definitely has potential to put up 30 and 10. We know the kind of upside that Kevin Love has. We've seen it earlier this year. Against Dallas, he put up 56 DraftKings points. Against Milwaukee, he put up 63 DK points. So Kevin Love, a great tournament play today in my opinion. And even at this increase in price, I still think he gets at least 40 DK points. So that makes him viable in cash games. Just really like Kevin Love today at 7,900 in a great matchup against Brooklyn. And obviously, since I'm going to Kevin Love, I probably prefer him over guys like Draymond Green, Al Horford. I think if you want to go to LaMarcus Aldridge at 8,100, does make a lot of sense today. He's going to have to play a ton of minutes since the Pelicans have Boogie and AD. They're going to need guys with size on the floor. So Aldridge is going to have to be on the floor a ton. Not the best matchup, but he's going to have to play plenty of minutes. And with no Kawhi Leonard, anytime Aldridge is on the floor, he's going to see a ton of usage. He's going to take a ton of shots. So I think going to him at 8,100 does make some sense. If you don't want to go to Kevin Love, definitely go to Aldridge for 200 more. But looking for some options that are a little bit cheaper, maybe in the 6K, 5K range. There aren't a ton of mid-tier options that I'm really in love with at power forward. There are guys in this 5K range that I've talked about earlier, like Harrison Barnes. If you want to play him at power forward, I think he's fine. But mainly this position, I'm going to see if I can find some value. I think going to a guy like Dario Saric at 5K definitely makes sense as a value play. Sarge has just been playing a ton of minutes lately. Didn't play that many minutes against Utah. Only played 24 minutes. But that game was a blowout. The Sixers won by 21 points. If this game stays competitive against Portland, Sarge should see his full run of minutes. Should see at least mid-30s in minutes. And when he's been getting the minutes, Sarge has been producing. So if you want to go to him as a value play at either power forward or center, I think he does make sense at 5K. I did want to mention Greg Monroe in a revenge game facing his former team, the Bucks. I think if you want to go to him in tournaments, I think he's a fine play. Definitely not a cash game play, though. Tyson Chandler is expected to be back for this game, so the Suns are going to have 3 centers available. They're going to have Monroe, they're going to have Lynn, and Tyson Chandler. So Monroe, unless he's crushing when he's on the court, he's probably not going to play but like mid-20s in minutes. But it is a revenge game. He did play for the Bucks some this year before he got traded to Phoenix. So if you want to go to him at 4,600 as a tournament option, he'll probably be low owned since a 14-game slate. So Greg Monroe at 4,600 for GPPs. Think he makes some sense. And then one more value play, another guy that's in a revenge game, Kelly Olynyk going up against his former team, the Celtics. This is a revenge game for Olynyk. We know he played for the Celtics last year. This is only a tournament play, though, in my opinion. You're definitely not going to be playing Olynyk in cash. The minutes haven't been there. Especially with Whiteside back now, Olynyk's not going to see a ton of minutes, but like I said, it's a revenge game. He did play Boston earlier this year. The Heat did play Boston, and Olynyk put up 33 DraftKings points. Whiteside was not active in that game, though, so probably that was one of the reasons why. But if you want to go to the revenge game narrative, Kelly Olynyk at 4,100. If you're making a ton of lineups, maybe put him in one or two if it's like a low dollar stakes. If you're making like $100 $1 lineups, then maybe put Olynyk in one or two of them. But definitely not a guy I'm trying to force into my lineups today. But yeah, guys, that's what I'm seeing for value at power forward. Let's go ahead and move on to center. Alright, so at center today, I think there are some options here if you want to pay up. First off, Karl-Anthony Towns at 9,200 going up against Orlando, going up against the Magic. I think Towns definitely in play for some tournaments today. We know Orlando really struggles defensively against centers. Nikola Vucevic is not a very good defender. So this is a good spot for Karl-Anthony Towns. The price tag's pretty high on him at 9,200. That's why I only really like him in GPPs. We know Towns has a ton of upside. He can put up 50, 60 DK points. I wouldn't say he's like a lock to hit 5x, so that's why I'm not considering him in cash. But for tournaments, he has the upside, especially in this matchup. So if you want to go to him, if you want to pay up at center, definitely consider Cat at 9,200. And then the other guy, if Wilson Chandler and Paul Millsap are both out today, obviously we're going to want to consider Nikola Jokic at 8,900 going up against the Rockets. It's a pace-up matchup for Denver going up against Houston, a team that likes to push the ball, play at a very fast pace. And it's a good matchup for Jokic going up against Houston, who has really struggled to defend centers. So if Paul Millsap and Wilson Chandler are both out today, Jokic is going to play a ton of minutes. He's going to see a ton of usage when he's on the court. So definitely like paying up for him today at 8,900 if both of those guys are going to be out. And looking for some options maybe a little bit cheaper, Marc Gasol at 8,300 going up against Dallas. I think Gasol is in a really good spot today. Like I said earlier with JaMychal Green, Dallas really struggles to rebound. So this is a great spot for Marc Gasol to dominate the boards. And he has been playing extremely well lately with Mike Conley out. Gasol's been seeing a ton of minutes. And like I said, been playing really well. Has a 70 DraftKings point game against the Pacers. Put up 51 against Portland. Both of those games, Conley was out. So if you want to go to Marc Gasol here, going up against a team that can't rebound, that really struggles to defend bigs, I think he makes a lot of sense at 8,300 if you are looking to pay up at center. And then some options that we can target in this mid-tier. Nikola Vucevic at 6,900 is in a really good spot, going up against Karl-Anthony Towns, who can't really defend. And we saw Vooch finally look like himself in his last game against the Pacers. Put up 49 DraftKings points, had 25 points and 13 rebounds, got the double-double. We know Vooch has that 50-point upside. He's shown it plenty of times this year. And in a really good matchup against Karl-Anthony Towns, who, like I said, can't defend. I think it's a great spot for Vooch. He has a really nice price tag on him at 6,900. So I think he makes a lot of sense. If you're going to that range at center, I would consider him today at 6,900. And then if we're looking for value at center, maybe 6K and below, there isn't a ton of value that I'm absolutely in love with today. Maybe Dwayne Dedmon at 5,300 going up against the Clippers. I think Dwayne Dedmon's going to have to play a ton of minutes today. They're going to need somebody with size to defend DeAndre Jordan. And when Dedmon's on the court, the guy's going to grab some rebounds. He will score the ball. We've seen him have some really monster games this year. And when he gets the minutes, the guy's going to produce. And into the spot where he's going to have to play plenty of minutes, like I said, to defend DeAndre Jordan. If you want to go to Dwayne Dedmon at value at center, I think he does make some sense today at 5,300. And then looking for some more centers that we can target for value. I think there are definitely tournament plays here, like I talked about earlier. Greg Monroe in a revenge game against Phoenix is a tournament play for me. Maybe Kelly Olynyk. But I don't think there are any like crush value plays down here. And Millsap and Chandler are both out again. Then I think you can consider Mason Plumlee at 3,600 going up against Houston. I think he does make a lot of sense as a value play if Millsap and Chandler are both out. But definitely not a guy I'm going to be considering on a 14-game slate if both of those guys play. So yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing for center today, guys. I think that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. If this is your first time watching a video on my channel, like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button, code on notifications, so that way you'll never miss out on any of my new videos. And be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, at the DFS_GOAT. There will be a link in the description. Just click on that link. It'll take you straight to my Twitter. Give me a follow. Would definitely appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open, so just message me on Twitter or leave a comment down in this video, and I'll be sure to reply to your question. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, she shaking fast. Yeah, she dropping slow. What? Yeah, neck on fro. What? Whoa, 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 whoa.